What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. So today we are going to continue to talk about how crap this transfer window has been so far. And we will talk about this wonderful ball. If you have been living under a rock or one of those many people who watch these videos and are not subscribed,
please subscribe.
If you are one of those people, you might not know about this. Like, subscribe, go to the link in the description below, or scan the QR code if you're watching this on the TV. Please donate to Acorns. All the money goes to charity, and you will have a chance of winning a signed football from the whole squad, signed merch and memorabilia from Peter With and Brian Little, and you will also win these. There's like some children's books as well, which will also be signed by Brian Little. So some fantastic Villa merch or memorabilia there for you. So yeah, please do donate. I mean, you don't even need to like and subscribe, just donate, people. And if you do donate, don't make it anonymous. Put your name in so that at least then I can say it's Dave, not anonymous number 3.
Yes,
because I won't have a clue of how to get in touch with you.
If you do it anonymous, your money will go to charity, but you won't be entered into the draw. That's kind of fair enough.
Basically, which is fine. If you want to do that, if I'm honest, I'd rather you do that. Yeah. Don't need to enter the competition. Just donate. We're trying to raise money for a really good cause. So, Gaz, how are you doing, mate? Other than the rant that's about to probably come about lack of anything happening, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. You know, I'm still buzzing from the fact that we spoke to Peter With last week.
We'll pop a little card up at the top. If you haven't seen that, it was a brilliant chat with Peter.
Please go and check it out, because honestly, it was a dream come true for me. So I'm still on cloud 9 from that, mate. But as in terms of the actual Villa and what's going on, mate, it's doing my head in. Like, should we be worried? Because I'm not worried, but should we be worried? Because, you know, we've got a good squad, but the fact that like nothing's happened, like even like outgoings, why aren't we getting rid of the fringe players like Bailey and just to kind of pave the way for potential 1 or 2 signings? The fact that that's not happening says to me that we're not probably going to make any signings. And are we good enough to rely on Bailey to do something this season? Like Soft, Joe, mate, I'm frustrated.
Well, you need offers, don't you? So, like to actually for people to go out, you need teams to make an offer. So you know, whether that's the case, it's not happening. Or like we were talking about before we came on air. Obviously, there's the Monchi stuff with his boy old club. So there's a little bit of distraction there where he's trying to look at sorting that out. So potentially,
where are these agents now, mate? Getting these offers on the table. Where's this Jorge Mendes just tapping people up?
It is weird. It is weird because we've been notoriously quick the past couple of windows to get stuff done. Like, as in we've got stuff set up.
Slightly worried. I mean, I'm not worried.
I'm not worried because we have got a very good squad still. Like, so I'm kind of sitting there going, if we offloaded a couple of fringe players and brought in 1 or 2, I'd be happy, to be honest.
Yeah, I just think it's just surprising that like you said, in the last 2 transfer windows, we've got our business done pretty quickly, and now we're kind of getting awfully close to this pre-season tour of America. Before we know it, we're going to be, you know, ready for the new season. And the longer it goes on, the less prep time that if players do come in, that they have to gel with the squad to kind of get up to fitness and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you know, but there is a long way to go to the end of August, so some things could happen still. I just, in my head, I'm like, I want it done early so we can just focus on the start of the season. And especially when you look at, my concern is, if, you know, and we've talked about this so much over the last few weeks about the Villa stepping up to the next level, being close to greatness, right? And then if you look at what Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle are doing, they're all kind of buying players in preparation to improve their squad. And if we are relying on the current squad that we've got, mate, we've got to improve so drastically this season. Like, and I'm not saying we can't do that, but it is a risk because we've got no reinforcements. We've got to rely on what we've got, and I don't know if that's good enough to get us to that next level to you know, potentially win the Europa League, potentially, you know, compete in the league, compete on all fronts. Because ultimately, as I've said in the last couple of weeks, surely the target this season for Emery would be for silverware of some sort, whatever that is, whether it be the Carabao FA or the Europa League. You know, you'd think it would be the Europa League because he's so well, like, doused in it. You know, four times he's won it, so much experience. We've potentially got the squad to do that, maybe. But if we don't do that this season, then what happens? Do you know what I mean? So it's a big risk. I've
Yeah.
got lots of things going through my head.
Also, I mean, thinking about it though as well, the first 2 seasons ago, it was Emery's first season, right? And he got us Conference League. So there was probably always going to be a fair bit of movement. It's his first transfer window. We wanted to get the right players in. We also needed numbers because we were basically now going into a European campaign that we hadn't planned for. We didn't know was coming. So we needed to increase the numbers. So there was a lot of movement. Last season, we had Champions League again. No one, I don't think any of us saw that coming. Internally, they probably had plans. But again, we've gone from Conference League campaign to a Champions League campaign. Again, big movement. You're going to need to level up. And we leveled up and we got numbers. So there was a lot of stuff happening. This season, we've got arguably a squad that was competing in the Champions League. And we're going to be playing in the Europa League. And yes, okay, I think there are some fringe players that need to go, and we know we need to get the wage book down and stuff, and we probably need to bring in 1 or 2 players of quality because last season we had those emergency loan signings that really kind of kicked us on. So I don't think it will be a big season of change. I think if we'd got the Champions League, there might have been more. I think, we talked about Watkins potentially needing to be upgraded. We were talking about probably bringing in really high level players for to replace Bailey and maybe on the left, whether that was Rashford or not. Whereas now with Europa League, I feel like our squad should be close. And so I don't think I don't think we're going to be as active as we were. And also with all, we're the only team, we're the only team in the Premier League who are at risk with PSR and all this crap. So, we don't want to be that again. So I suppose there is probably a little bit of consolidation.
No, I think for me, I kind of understand that. I just like you mentioned there, we had those 2 emergency loan signings of Rashford and Asensio were quality players, mate. Whatever you think of them both, they changed our season really in January. Like they gave us that impetus that helped us finish the season strong. We've lost them both, so we need to replace them with something. Like you can't because the fringe players like Bailey, too inconsistent. Like your Ross Barkley's, these players, well, they're not bad players per se. They're not in your starting 11, and so you either you would say now in midfield you could get rid of Barkley because we've got enough cover there potentially. You've got JJ coming back, you've got McGinn, you've got Kamara, you've got Tillemans, you've got Onana. That's a solid midfield that you can rotate.
There was stages last season though where we were a bit thin.
Well, we were, but that was because of injuries, wasn't it? If you think Onana was injured,
that could happen again, right? Like, as in, I would say if you're going to lose Barkley, I think you still need to replace him with a squad player.
Well,
whether he actually just decides that's, oh my god, what the hell's his freaking name? Young lad, holding midfielder. This is terrible. Oh my god, Bogard. Yes, thank you.
Well, with Bogard, like he was in the squad and playing, wasn't he, at the start of the season last year? And then to be fair, in the Champions League against young boys at right back, he was terrible. But that's not his.
No, you don't want to put him there.
Yeah. Well, he's a holding midfielder by trade, isn't he? So, is he going to get another chance? Does Emery like him? Like, there's these youthful players that we've got. Like, we've got this Redmond, obviously, as a striking option. Don't know anything about him, really, mate.
There's no sounds about Bogard going anywhere. So unless we're looking to loan him out, I'm presuming he's going to be part of the squad. Again, obviously, Emery does use the pre-season to try and look at some of these things. So potentially there could be some movements to halfway through that. I was going to say just on the midfield thing. Obviously, there has been I just feel like again, a lot of it's lazy journalism, and a lot of it is just. Well, of course, Villa would be interested. Conor Gallagher from Atleti. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, to be fair,
we tried to get him before we went.
Yeah, so he's known to our scouting team, and he's someone that we have been tracking. So potentially, if there is something to be done there, then maybe there is something in that.
Maybe. Like, I just, if you look at it though, it's not, unless it's coming out from Fabrizio Romano's mouth or on Sky Sports, it ain't happening for me. Do you know what I mean? It's just people trying to get kickbait and
But
views and all that. And
let's
I'm
talk about
struggling to buy into that,
Gallagher.
mate.
Let's talk about Gallagher as if it was happening. So where
Okay.
would he
Well,
sit?
where would he fit in? Like,
Is he an alternative to Rodgers in that kind of like 10 role?
that's his. This is the problem. That's probably his strongest position, right? So I don't see Rodgers being shifted out of the team. And
No.
surely, if Emery's doing his homework, which we all know he will, like when he played Rodgers out on the right and tried to incorporate Asensio in the middle, it worked a little bit at first, like when they first came in January, but ultimately in key games when he did that, it just didn't work, and Rodgers was anonymous. That could have been the fact that he was just tired and because he played every fucking game. But I don't. The way I see it is that Rodgers is Emery's main man. It has to be like that. And it's a big season for Rodgers. So if you were to bring in someone like Gallagher, I think you're probably swapping him out for like the likes of McGinn, really, because you're going to probably utilise him maybe out on the right, maybe as a holding player, maybe even out on the left, trying to be versatile. I don't know. This is what we don't know. Like in terms of our midfield now, you've got that attacking option. You've got Ramsey. Is he going to be fit? Is he playing? Is he going to go? And if he can stay fit, he's a good option to have on that left-handed side of the attack, 100%. Right, but completely different to what Rashford brings you because he's not going to bring you pace. That's of Rashford. Although JJ's not slow, he can run at players. That's his ball carrying skills are excellent. You're going to have Rodgers in the middle of that. Where's Marlon going to fit into it? Because if Marlon's going to go on the right side of midfield, like he's not a wide player, is he? He's more central. Is he going to change our tactics completely and play with two up top? And then when you come a bit deeper, you go, okay, you're not going to get rid of Tielemans or Kamara if they're both staying as holding players because that worked really well. You've got to try and fit a Nana in there at somewhere because he had a couple of good games towards the end of last season, and again he was injured last year, so wasn't fully fit. Like it's a headache. It's a good headache to have, but what worries me is that the problem we had last season was we didn't lock down a solid back four, a solid midfield to get any consistency going. So we were ultimately inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? And that's something we've got to rectify. So, Conor Gallagher, while it would be a good signing, he's a good player, and he was great at Chelsea before he went to Athletic. I haven't followed him in Spain, so I don't know what kind of form he's in or whether he's been out of favour there towards the end of last season. But you think he'd bring some strength and depth into the squad, but where he fits into that midfield, I don't know.
Does he only play centrally? Can he play out wide?
I don't know.
Can he play on the right? I don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know because I'm kind of sitting there going, like, I understand because the Rashford thing, but he was playing Rashford as a 9. So the thing that I couldn't work out is why he continued to always play Rodgers on the right.
Yeah.
Whereas he's relatively effectual on the left. So then, like, that's where he played for Borough. Like he was playing on that wide left and he was cutting in. Obviously, number 10 is the place where we want him. Like that's his main role. But if he was going to play along the side of Asensio, I always found it really odd that he wasn't on the left. But I was just thinking if Gallagher can play on the right, because the thing we have, and you just kind of talked about it then, is that we need a squad, but we want a squad of quality. And the difficulty is when you bring in quality, they're unlikely to want to sit on the bench. So you need to rotate. So getting that consistency is quite difficult because you need to be able to rotate these players. So Emery's always looked at it as, like we said before, you're the team that starts the game and the team that ends the game, not your starting and second 11. So you need, if you want Rodgers to be able to get a rest, you need a player who can come in for him, who's going to be as good or close to. And so when you're
this was part of the problem though last year, wasn't it? In that rotation system, which we've, like if you think when we got to the end of the season last year was brilliant, right? 9 games unbeaten, 10 games unbeaten, whatever it was, right?
Didn't feel like it though, by the way. It was really strange.
No, it was strange. But my question to Emery would be, and which baffled me, like that you've got the play, like we had more or less a fully fit squad.
Yeah.
Everybody was available, right? And he didn't rotate the right players, in my opinion. Like, he had options, like with Mings and Torres. Play Torres in the wrong games, like playing Rodgers, not resting Rodgers when he had options to rest Rodgers. Why didn't he do it? I don't understand. So it's okay, like say we want strength and depth, but if you're going to rotate, you've got to rotate the right players and trust in the players that are going to come in and replace. Okay, like if we're going to go right, Rodgers, you're our main man. The main focus for you is going to be the Premier League and the Europa League. So if you've got someone like Gallagher, right, you'll play a certain amount of league games, 100% to give, because that might work. But you're definitely going to play in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Do you know what I mean? And you go, okay, well, I can buy, because you're going to get a certain amount of game time, but he didn't do that towards the end of last season in the key games. He just tried to stick with and work out a way of getting Asensio, Rashford, and Rodgers in the same team, but it didn't work, and it cost us. So, I mean, I'm not questioning Emery. Like, he's by far for me.
No, I mean, I think
winning anything.
I think
a
it's
fantastic manager, but
I think it's perfectly fine to question decisions from even a manager, as good as him and what he's done, and like we say, he knows a lot more than us and all this kind of thing. But it's perfectly fine, I think, to like kind of go, well, you probably got that one wrong, or you probably got this one wrong, and I think he would himself go, yeah, that wasn't quite right.
Well, so I am intrigued to see how he starts the season. What that opening lineup will be against Newcastle, right? And who's going to go.
You're not interested about Walsall tomorrow?
No, yeah, we'll get to that 100%. But this is what. But then when I'm on about for that starting Premier League game, because if it is just the squad we've got, like, what's he going to go for? Like, what's he going to play? Who's like? So that's going to be really interesting for Walsall tomorrow. By the way, which I'm not going to, gutted because I'm not around. But I did get tickets for the Roma game, though, mate. I'm going to the Roma game.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool. Yeah. That'd be good. So the best guy, isn't it?
Their best guy, yeah. So I'm excited to see. And I went to the Walsall one last year, and why it was great, because I'm just watching the Villa. The game itself was absolute dog shit, if I'm honest, right? And the only good plus point about it for me was I got to see Barrenechea play. So even though he's not, but and I thought actually this kid looks all right. Spraying the ball, getting forward. So I'm a little bit disappointed.
We'll come back to him in a
sec. Get back to him. Pause that. I think that game showed to me that Louis Barry was done at the Villa. If I'm honest, he came on and his body language was like awful. Like, he looked so pissed off being there. Like, it was almost like he'd just been told, look, you're going back out on loan. And I think a little bit of him was gutted because I think he probably fancied a chance at the Villa. This is why I think we have to sell him this summer. Give him, I think he has to go. But, obviously he was supposed to go to Hull, and that's gone a bit to shit, hasn't it? Because they've been had this embargo on him. So I don't know what's going to happen to him.
Sheffield United are interested in him, I think.
Are they? Well, let him go. Like, let him go now and kind of, try and make something of him. Championship would be good for him. And Blues was potentially interested in, weren't they? So but yeah. So it'll be interesting tomorrow against Walsall to see who gets minutes, because there isn't anyone really in it to get minutes. Like, I thought the goalkeeper,
Marco Bizot.
Right? Or the Brummie pronouncer is Bizot.
Marco Bizot.
Marco Bizot is coming from France. Can't wait to see him.
It's coming from Brest. Just wanted to be able to say that. Brest.
Oh, you've got to love it. And so I thought that might be, because I've read all week that he was in the UK, he's signing on. I thought it might be announced today, so we could, we'd see something of him at war. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and it just hasn't happened. So, I'll be watching the game tomorrow. I'm going to watch. I think it's on AVTV. So I'll watch the game, and we'll talk about it on Thursday and see what kind of who plays and who does what. I guess.
Yeah, it might be quite nice to actually talk about a bit of football.
That I'm excited about, mate. Talking about a Villa game, bring that
about an actual game. That'd be quite nice.
It's doing my head in.
Yeah. There's two last things I wanted to talk. Well, I'll quickly just acknowledge the fact that Olivia Zish has gone out on loan to Rakov Shestakova, is what I'm going to say.
It's a great pronunciation, mate.
I always try my best, mate. I always try my best. He's gone out on loan, goalkeeper. So he's gone to his native Poland, which is nice. I don't think we said Nedeljkovic going to Leipzig on loan. Did we say that?
No, we haven't. But that's happened officially yesterday. It did. So.
Yeah, I think there was rumours of him.
Was right. I reckon he turned up at Bodymoor Heath. Right, went to get into the reception. His card didn't work. No,
On
sorry, mate.
loan. On loan.
Turn
Yeah.
around. Got to get back in the car on a plane. You go to Germany, mate. Bye.
The
Thanks.
other one that I've been reading about in a few different places is Baranachea going to Benfica for around 13 to 15 million euros. The only thing holding that up at the moment is a sell-on percentage of some sort. Really interesting, the Baranachea one. Like, because I think a lot of people have said he looks all right. You were saying he looks pretty decent in preseason and stuff.
Yes,
He's
mate.
a young lad. If we are looking to get rid of Barkley and not, could he replace that? He's more young and potential. But apparently he doesn't have enough pace.
So, mate, it's really interesting. If you look at there's 3 signings that have happened where like we've signed them and literally just moved them on. So you've got him, you've got Jaden Philogene-Badace, who we signed back last year, and then literally, he had got rid of him.
Junior.
And Illing Junior is the other one, and Nedeljkovic.
Yeah.
You bought him, and you've kind of literally not given him any time or minutes or
some
anything.
Of it, I think some of it is just a commercial, like as in you buy them, you know that they're going to go for probably more than what you bought them for. It tops up the pennies, kind of thing.
It's just a shame when, particularly like Barrenechea, where such positive reports are coming back from Spain that he had a good season. Like again, I watched him in that Warsaw game. Okay, it was pre-season friendly, difficult to judge, but looked lively, could spray the ball left or right. Good movement, got a couple of shots away. I think, yeah, as a holding midfielder, likes to get forward. But is he better than Tielemans? Is he better than Kamara? Probably not. And that's kind of, that's the competition you've got. But in a season where you've got Kamara, who has already had one ACL and could maybe pick up another injury. He's in the last year of his contract, and we don't know whether he's staying or going. Tielemans, with his stupid talks about doesn't know where he'll be on international duty. Right?
I think a lot of the players are bit like I can't remember exactly, but all these little tidbits that I read and stuff. It's always like the player. None of our players seem to be like shooting down a move. Like everyone's kind of like open to it and stuff. It's like I do feel like some of it is they've had the taste of that Champions League and they want it again and they feel like they could get it maybe. And
get that, mate. As a fan, I want Champions League again. I fucking loved last season. It was fucking brilliant.
At least we might not have to play Palace in the Europa League.
Yeah, mate. I still think that's one of the harshest decisions ever. Like they've done nothing wrong, and they've just apart from their own.
Well, mate, for me, it's worse. We could be playing Forest in the Europa League. I don't want that.
Yeah, mate. They're getting rid of all their best players. They ain't going to do nothing this season.
Mate, that's unreal. Like Langer and Gibbs. Have you seen the Gibbs White thing, by the way? It's like because obviously they've blocked it because of like legal stuff. But he was going to go for I think it was 60. They paid, I think, including add-ons, something around 40 to 45, and there's a sell-on clause. So I was like, I remember speaking to Graham and going, "So you're going to make like what, 5 mil off Gibbs White?" Whoever put that clause in the contract's an absolute muppet.
So I'd rather play Forest than Palace, mate.
A quick one for you. So there's two points I want to. This one's just popped into my head, and I was just going to have like a quick 2-minute discussion on it. And then the last one will be Watkins, as always. Conor Gallagher, right? Or Dougie?
Tough one. Okay. I'm not a firm believer in going backwards. Do you know what I mean? Of going to what could have been.
Actually,
I love Dougie, right? But Conor Gallagher might bring something a little bit different that we haven't seen. I don't know. So I'd probably go Conor Gallagher.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think about that bombshell.
I can't believe I said it out loud.
Before we get on to the Watkins bit, I'm just going to do a little bit. So something that is going to be coming at some point. I've been working on it using the old chat, the AI. I'm trying to make something for
Mate, you need your own AI tool, and we'll take a screenshot of what you just did, and that can be the logo for the app.
Yeah.
AI.
So we're always talking about like these match prediction things and all this kind of stuff, and I was like looking for something that allowed me to do this, and you can do it for like the entirety of the Premier League, or you can do it for all these different things, but you can't. I can't find anything that's just like a single club predictor. So it's basically like, I just want to have some kind of prediction league just for Villa games. And it doesn't seem to be anything that allows me to do that. So I was like, screw it then. I'm just going to make it myself.
Mate,
so
I can just say, I absolutely love this idea. And I hope that people buy into this on the channel because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know,
yeah. So the first season, so for the coming season, we're going to do this open to anyone. Like you don't have to be a subscriber. You don't have to do anything. Like obviously great if you do subscribe. Thank you. But if not, we're just going to basically make this public. And then what we're going to do is see how it goes. And then it potentially might be part of a membership or you might have to be subscribed for the following season.
Yeah.
But essentially here, you can log in with your Google account or you can create an account. Basically go in. Oh, God. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. No one email me.
James is about to get 1,400 emails.
Might need to clip that out, I think. So anyway, so
his
basically,
bank details, his email address, his actual address. James is going to get cloned, man.
Basically, anyway, you come into here. So what you will have is the fixtures because it's all done manually from our side, so we can admin all the games. So we add all the fixtures, and then one thing I am going to add as well is first goal scored in the game. So like because otherwise you'll get a lot of people with the same like points at the end of the season. So all you do is you have next match coming up at the top. It'll actually say like this. It'll be like make a prediction. It'll give you the time and date of the kickoff. And you can essentially do a prediction up until 5 minutes before kickoff. Once kickoff has started, you cannot edit your prediction. You can't make a prediction. So you just simply go to this. You then just type in, whatever, and then update or cancel or update or add prediction. So here for Frankfurt, for instance, I can go, cool, Villa 2-1, cool, submit prediction. That's now submitted. So what you will get is like a leaderboard, and there'll be stats around like how many you got right. Essentially, the way it works is that you will get 3 points for an exact match, 1 point for the right result, and 0 points for nothing.
Wrong.
And what we plan on doing is having some kind of prize at the end of the season for the person that finishes at the top of the league. I don't know whether we're thinking about doing a prize of maybe like if you come above us, like maybe like you'll get like something small, because that's not going to be that hard, I don't think. Might get a piece of merch or something simple. But
we'll send you a mug.
Yeah, but if you do finish top of the league, we are thinking about some kind of cash prize probably. So, let us know in the comments. I just want to do a small bit on this because it is in the works. Let us know in the comments if you're interested in this down below. I am working on it, and this will be ready before the start of the new season, so people can get the predictions in and stuff early if they want to. I might actually just do it where like we release 5 fixtures at a time rather than having it. You can just do the whole thing because that's just a bit much. So, cool. Right. Enough on that.
Looking forward to that. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Last thing. So there's obviously the Watkins stuff seems to have gone a bit quiet and all that kind of thing. I think.
And he reported for pre-season training yesterday, mate.
Yeah, but various. I mean, why wouldn't he? Various people are.
He's got no choice.
Yeah, he's not. Many people. I think also Newcastle potentially got eyes on him as well. Obviously, there's the Man U stuff. So Champions League teams basically are looking at him. Now, my question I was going to say to you, because there's also been rumours of this lad coming in. Watkins out, Nicholas Jackson in.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I've said this all along. I think if someone comes in for Ollie at a reasonable price, 40, 50 million quid, I think you have to let him go. Nicholas Jackson is he good enough? I don't know. Like, he had a decent season last year, didn't he? And I think the one positive is
for a bit of it.
Yeah, he was a little bit out of favour. I can't remember, but like obviously he's played under Emery before. He loves Unai Emery. Like he said at the start of last season, who's the best coach that you've ever worked with? He's like Unai Emery. I owe everything to Unai. So you would argue that he wants to come in and he'd want to play for Unai. I'm not sure Watkins does. I think Watkins towards the end of last season, forget about the big chances missed and all that kind of stuff. His body language for me just seemed to have changed. Like I think the comment on Sky Sports about not playing against PSG, the kind of then having a run in the team, and just it felt like his usual movement wasn't there, his usual tracking, his usual closing people down. He almost looked like he couldn't be asked. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I said this yesterday on TikTok Live, like, it's a World Cup year. It's a big season for Watkins. So if he stays with us or if he goes somewhere else, like, he's got to have the season of his life if he wants to get anywhere near that England team.
Well, there's also the interesting thing. I was speaking to father-in-law about it, and he was talking about the Gibbs White thing of him potentially moving. And I found this a really weird one because Tuchel came out, didn't he, saying they need to play for big clubs if you want to be in the national team.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going, but you just qualified for Europe. And I'm like, I understand, but if he's going to go to Spurs, I was like, yeah, they're in the Europa League, but they finished 17th. So Villa, I mean, under our eyes, we would say we're one of them.
Yeah.
Do you think Tuchel would say? And also, I didn't understand it because I was like, but you picked Ivan Toney from the Saudi League.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But like, you're right. He needs, I mean, at the end of the day, he needs to play. He can't go somewhere and sit on the bench. Like, he can't go somewhere and be second fiddle. He has to be a starter.
Yeah.
Which Man U, he would be that. Newcastle, probably not.
Well, mate, I'm going back on what Peter we said last week. Like, the thing that, and I've felt this for so many years, that partnerships at the Villa are scarce, like, around the pitch. Like, we need to work on that. Like, if you look at the top teams, right, in terms of the last 5 seasons that have been successful, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, they have this understanding of players that work together. Like, whether it's Odegaard and Saka at Arsenal, the way they move off the ball at each other, they look for each other. Like, yes, Rodgers and Watkins were our 2 top goal contributors last season, but they didn't have a partnership. I didn't feel when they played together they were. I had an understanding that they're linking up, and and we need
Ramsey and Rodgers.
Ramsey and Rodgers, like Asensio and Rodgers in certain games, like we're linking up, like Rashford and Asensio. Like, you can see, you think, okay, they've got an understanding of each other's play. I don't see that at the Villa, like with anyone with Watkins. Like, in terms of, there's times when, rightly so, he's probably been frustrated. Sorry, excuse me. He's probably been frustrated because Watkins can often make a run or be in a good position, and we don't try and pick him out, and that's part of the way we play. But I'd just like to, if he does stay with us, can we develop those relationships? Maybe Marlon and him could work together. But like, it's because Watkins can drift out onto the left. He did it. That's part of his game, really. I know that's not something he's been that Unai's wanted him to do. But if we haven't got that left-handed option, and he's going to, JJ's not going to be the main one there, why not mix it up a little bit and get these understandings? Like, because that for me is the key to success. We need to get 5-6 players involved in goal involvements this season to have any kind of chance of pushing on. That's got to happen. If it doesn't, and we do what we did last year, we'll drop down that pecking order. We will. Like, you'd be looking at maybe top 10 as a decent season and a cup run. That's for that. But if we do these things, there's no reason why we can't finish in that top 5. I think the top 4 is going to be a battle between what it was last year. They've all improved. They've all bought players. If they keep injuries down, it's going to be tough to break into that. But that 5th place, again, for us, like Newcastle, us, and the other teams around us, you just don't know. Brentford probably are going to struggle this year. Brighton maybe might be there and thereabouts again. But you'd like to think that 5th place could be a realistic thing for us if we go up a level. And if we do that, if we don't, and we struggle to get these combinations going and goal involvements happening, then it's going to be frustrating again from a fan's perspective.
I think that's the thing. The part of, and I think we talked about it in the chat with Pete, as I like to call him. Pete. We lacked the Bailey factor last season, right? Like, the season before last season, we had goal, and I think he was saying goals come around the team, and like kind of what you just alluded to. And again, it's like the Marlon thing just baffles me. I just can't work it out. I've also heard that like rumors of him leaving, and I'm just like, what is going on?
If he was to, let's say, if he was to leave, right, would you blame him? Like, you get signed.
Oh God, no, of course.
Like,
of course
it's kind of, and I sit here frustrated with that situation because I can't really give an honest opinion on him because I haven't seen him play enough. You're kind of like, okay, what kind of player is he? Is he capable of being consistent?
Be be interesting if he plays tomorrow. He's going to rip Warsaw a new one.
Well,
Like,
you think he would. You think he would, mate. Like, and if he doesn't get minutes tomorrow, like, you're just going, I don't.
I can't remember who it was. Someone did a thing, like, someone posted something. His numbers are mad.
Yeah.
As in, he's like, shots on target and conversion and stuff like that they're mad. Like, as in, he's so like, I think we always talked about it as if he's like clinical and he's going to score straight away. And I remember against Spurs, I think it was, he came on and he had a few chances and people were moaning at us because when Watkins missed the chance,
Watkins, yeah.
And when Marlon missed the chance, we're like, oh, it's unlucky. So like, but like, it's because you get so few minutes that you're like, well, if he's creating so much in such a small amount of time, what happens if he actually gave him a run in the team?
That's part of the problem. If Watkins was doing what Marlon did in the time that he had, there wouldn't be a problem. Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, okay, like, we understand, like, eventually it's going to happen, but it's like, I still think Watkins is a fantastic striker, and I want to keep him.
Like, I would actually prefer to have another option in the team, in the squad, who's like a slightly different type of striker, whether that's like your kind of more really clinical number 9 off the shoulder type striker, or someone who, like you said, potentially could play alongside him, but never seems to work whenever we do that. I mean, we had Danny Ings and all the others who have come along and bit the dust. But yeah, I'd love to see that. It's just not, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be happening. It doesn't seem to be on the cards, because I think Emery does tend to play with a single striker up front. But just back on the Nicholas Jackson thing as well, he's 24. And that for me is like, the big thing for me with Watkins is, has he peaked? So if anything's coming in for him that is relatively around 50, 60 million, I'm like, I don't think we're going to get that again. So actually, yes, okay, we might not sign a striker who's ready to hit the ground now, and this season becomes more of a season of consolidation, and we maybe finish 6th and we hit Europa League again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we're potentially in a better place to kick on the season after.
Well, yeah, like, I don't. It feels like a kind of, not that it would be negative, but like, I think I said this last season. Like, my expectation is that we just want to develop and get better season on season, right? And so, while we haven't quite, we missed out so close to the Champions League again. But see, Europe 3 seasons in a row, like, it's hardly devastation, is it? Like, do you know what I mean?
No.
It's not like we're in trouble.
Like, okay. So, for instance, if we did, but obviously not the Champions League, but in the Europa League, if we did the same again next season, we get to a semi-final, we get the Europa League again, we have a good run in the Europa League, but we don't win anything. Again, I don't know. I'm just looking at this, like, when we talk about building, I'm talking about over the next 5, 6, 7 years. Like, I just think the idea of, well, we've got X last season, we need to get it again, or we need to improve that. It's like, you try to improve every season, but that's so hard. And I think it's just not, it's not a realistic view, because otherwise, if you did that in the next, I mean, you've said it before, to potentially, though, we would be there. If you did do that in the next 3 years, we would be challenging for the title. And it's possible, but I think there also has to be an element of realism with it, and maybe it is that this season as well is a bit of consolidation, the PSR issues. We don't want that
again. Like, I think it's one of them, isn't it? Where to get the wage bill down, maybe we do sell a couple of players do go by the end of August.
You need the high earners to go, and you need to take a little bit of a risk on a bit more potential.
Exactly.
And when was the last time we saw a bloody academy prospect come through?
Exactly.
Oh, come on. Like, we've got an amazing. They're just. What did they win? The treble, was it? They beat. I mean, they beat City about 5 times.
Ridiculous.
So surely there's a team there. There's a player or two there. Like,
you would think so. I agree with you. I think this season will be a consolidation thing where I think you'll see 1 or 2 go, and we might bring in 1 or 2. But it's not essential, because if we can get rid of, like you say, a couple of high earners, then it gives us a season to just knuckle down, do as best we can, hopefully get within that European place again. And then next year we'll be in a much better position, because I think commercially we're going to make more money this year, aren't we? Next season's books will look completely different. So
and a lot of that team's quite, Anana, young. You've got like if we and Garcia, young, Matson, Young.
Yeah,
Like, they're all pretty young players, and we've got players out on loan who potentially will come back. That kind of thing. So I do think that I just think there's some places where I'm like that they're peaking, they're hitting their time now, and it might just be a bit of a consolidation year, but we shall see. Yeah, cool. Well, that'll probably do us, I think, for this one. Gaz,
one last thing, mate.
Yeah.
Score prediction for tomorrow.
Oh shit! Yeah. Right. I ain't got a fucking clue.
Because we have no idea who's going to play, so there's no predicted lineup. Right.
I'm gonna go 3-1 Villa.
You stole my score. I was going to go 3-1 Villa. I'll go 4-1 Villa then. I think we'll score 4. Marlon to get a hat trick.
Might be lucky if he plays 3 minutes, let alone 3 goals.
Well, there you go. 3 goals in 3 minutes, mate. Come on, get a hat trick. Off we go. And of course, it's always a sunny return for Albert Adama, isn't he? Because he's a Walsall player, so maybe he'll score against us. Yeah.
I love the Doma. He's brilliant, wasn't he?
Albert, God bless him. Soft spot in I just loved him as a guy and as a player. Like he obviously scored that goal against Blues in front of the whole end, which will always go down. So 4-1 then. And hopefully Thursday, mate, if we do something, we can actually talk about the game because I'm going to watch it. It'd be nice to kind of get back to some analysis, maybe, rather actually have something to talk about.
Bollocks, like
you've signed no one again.
Players like Zish going out on loan and
or breaking under 21s. Munro moves to Swindon on loan. There you go. There's a bit of transfer news to finish off the day with. Finley Munro has joined Swindon Town on a season-long loan. Good luck to Finley.
What great name that is, Finley. Anyway, on that note, Finn, Gary, you're going to finish it?
100%, mate. Every week we follow the boys in Claret and Blue.
See ya.
Peace and love.